sequels. Whether it be a movie, a video game, a novel, or a comic book, we just can't seem to live without them. Or at least the industry can definitely not live without them. And it's something that has become paper thin over the years to where it's almost malicious. We often want more of the same because the same manages to work for the overall consensus. For the majority of us, more of the same often works. But when is more of the same becoming the biggest crime to consumerism, when it's just doing what's not intended for a sequel to do, whether it be in a movie or a game or a comic book or a television show or a spin-off or whatever within a television show? When do we have to know the argument of more of the same? This brings me to the current topic of Destiny 2. I know I'm probably going to spark up some controversy or at least some debate with certain people about what my impressions are about Destiny 2 so far. I played the first Destiny and I really liked it. I really liked it a lot. But I never got the burning desire to want to put money forward for Destiny 2 when that did roll around the corner. And then I managed to watch some more gameplay footage and trailers and stuff like that. I've even seen some screenshots of the menu and the customization options and all that stuff. And right now, Destiny 2, you guessed it, looks more of the same to me. Nothing about it seems that much innovative except maybe a couple of different enemy types, new weapons, skins, powers and stuff like that. But so far, the gameplay feels much more in routine with the first one. And I remember a few months back, I can't remember if it was on a podcast or something like that, I heard somebody wanting to argue with another person who was supportive of the idea that Destiny 2 was more of the same, saying, yeah, it's Destiny 2, it's more of Destiny. I mean, what else could you have wanted? I mean, it's more of that game. That's the whole purpose of the sequel. Fuck no. My counter argument is that that's not what the purpose of a sequel should be. Whether it be for a movie, a game, a novel, whatever, a sequel needs to have a purpose. It must have a purpose. Because without a purpose, it do not exist. Or at least sequels should not exist. But they do. Why? Because at the end of the day, the gaming industry, the movie industry, they're industries. Industrialize. They industrialize. Therefore, they have to make a profit. They have to make a buck. They have to put your ass in the seat to sell that ticket. And that is a little saddening to somebody who is as creatively and artistically inclined as me, especially who wants to be a filmmaker and wants to interpret our emotions and stuff like that through the power of film. But then when producers start looking at the numbers and saying, yeah, so that really awesome movie that you made, we're going to need a sequel because, hey, people liked it. But in your mind, you never actually thought that you were going to get a sequel, let alone be greenlit for one. So now, from scratch, and from that measly little pesky contract, you need to come up with a story for a sequel. And that's why so many sequels either obviously don't make the same amount of money as the first one, or better yet, they make the money, but they dip in quality, because that was never the intention. I'll tell you what my perception of a sequel should be. If you have an idea to expand the story, to create new plot lines, as well as new characters that are essential for the characters that you have already established within your first thing, whether it be the movie or the game or new IP, the sequel should take advantage of it being an expansion. And when I say expansion, I don't mean, like I said, more of the same. I just mean that you need to broaden your horizons when you're introducing brand new ideas, whether it be new ideas for the world that you just built or the plots that you have started off with these characters and now go beyond them. Kind of be better than what you were, because that should be your ultimate goal, is for the sequel to be better. So if you manage to nail it with the characters in the story, then obviously improve on those story and character beats and just listen to what people have to say, especially those criticisms that they do have, because then you can improve upon that. Why does this kind of sound familiar? Gee, I don't know, maybe fucking life? Think about it. You get a job, you have that first week, and it's kind of shitty. It's not terrible, but it's a little shitty. You messed up here and there. There were a couple of things that you did well, but overall, there's plenty of room for improvement. So what do you do in that second week? Obviously, you're going to improve on the things that you failed at or you just didn't get right, whereas the first, you do that first, and then you improve and you pile on top of the things that you were already good at, and now those things that you were good at, you're going to be great at. and that second week is automatically better than the first. Just take those applications, take that mentality, and you apply it to that second book, that second movie, that second game. And that's what I would always want to be. If I ever go into the movie industry and I'm asked to do a trilogy, I'll tell them straight up, I'm going to be one of those directors. I'm going to be like Matthew Vaughn, where they're like, no sequel unless it's worth doing. I don't care how much money you're willing to put in my face. And I know that some of you guys are probably looking at me and be like, yeah, you say that now, but once they show you that check, obviously I don't know what's in store for the future. So who knows? You might be right. Maybe I'll be stuck in a rut financially. I'll be like, you know what? I kind of need the money. Sure, fine, give it to me. But right now, at this very moment, you can bet your ass that that's where my integrity lies. Where I want to be known for making good content, good movies. And that story needs to be there. That story and the potential to really expand about our characters and give them arcs and just all that stuff just drives me. That drives me more than money at this point. Of course, money is necessary to get things moving, like projects and stuff like that. But when that becomes the sole focus, that's when you kind of lose your soul as an artist, whether it be as a director, or writer, or musician, whatever. That's when that whole transformation happens. Let's look at a movie that just came out, It. It could have easily been a cash grab, but it looks like the director actually said, you know what? We understand that there's some problems with that original It from 1990, I believe, the miniseries. Even though it did scare some people, especially with Tim Curry's impeccable performance, there's still an awful lot of areas to kind of improve. Because don't get me wrong, you go back and watch that movie, there are some rough spots with some acting here and there, stuff like that, writing. There is some areas here and there that could be tightened up, especially the fucking running time. So that's probably where the writers and the director came in saying, yeah, there's some things that we can improve on, let's try to improve on them. And that's what they did, and so far that's from what I'm hearing that made that movie that much of a success. Destiny 2 so far feels like a studio decision. Even though, yes, it's been about 3 years since the first one came out, and it looked promising in the beginning with Cade's introduction. Well, I mean, he was in the first one, but here he looks like he's going to be playing a much more prominent role. But from the footage that I have been seeing, however, it looks not like a bad game. It just looks like more of the same. And that's somewhat tragic to me, because even if it's good, it's not great, and sequels should always strive to be better than the original. Sequels' sole purpose should be to be better than the original, and sometimes having better special effects, bigger set pieces does not always make for a better sequel. Let's look at the Transformers series, something that I'm a little skeptical for Kingsman, the Golden Circle. As much as I love that first movie, and I see the trailers for the second one, and I don't think it's going to be bad, but it looks like they're throwing in more of their money into those special effects, like the guy with the robotic arm or all these big set pieces, and I'm not seeing that much of a story being really fleshed out that it leaps bounds over the first one. And if that doesn't convince you, then children. How often do you hear a parent say that I want my children to have a better future, to have them be better than me? Or like Tony Stark said to Spider-Man, I want you to be better. We want things to be better because we want the stuff that we're consuming to be better, to be worth our money, and not show them that, yeah, we're willing to spend money on just more of the same stuff, more of the same stuff. Why do we have a Call of Duty every year? Because we're good with more of the same. We need to make things better. And we need to criticize those things that are not willing to become better. And if that calls for criticizing things that are just untouchable and so like, oh my god, you can't talk shit about this like Destiny 2, then I'm going to. Because good just doesn't settle it these days for great. I at least need to see some kind of proof that you're trying. And so far I'm not seeing that from Destiny 2. Like I said, later on when it gets discounted for Black Friday or something like that, maybe I'll pick it up. But right now, when we're seeing a humongous season of sequels, I want to see improvements. I want to see changes. That's why, out of all the video games we have coming out later on in the fall season, the majority of which are sequels, Wolfenstein 2, Super Mario Odyssey, Shadow War, all these games, the Fractured But Whole from South Park is so far the most optimistic one, because look at that, they're doing something different, they're improving, they're doing something brand new, they're kind of adapting the same gameplay elements, but they're changing up a couple of things here and there. But overall, the aesthetic of it going from the Lord of the Rings spoof to now superhero, it's like, hey, we're not doing more of the same, it's not Stick of Truth all over again, it's something kind of different. And that's why that stands out to me most than any other game that's coming out this year. That concludes my rant on why I get just a little irritated when people say that, yeah, it's more of the same. What else do you expect? Well, now you know. What should we definitely expect? Because after a while, those big corporations, those big industries are going to take advantage of us. But little do they know that we have the power. Damn. I lose myself in this kind of shit. And I'm hoping that you guys are right there with me. And if you are, let me know in the comments. Do you guys think that we should not be selling for more of the same? We should definitely try to criticize those things that we love so that they can be improved and they could be better than the one before it. And then that one's better than the one before it. Imagine a world where that could happen. That would be fucking awesome. And I will definitely be supportive of giving my money over to things like that. So if you're right there with me, then please let me know in the comments. Make sure you like the video, make sure you hit the share button, and do not forget to subscribe. If you're a newcomer, subscribe for more epic rants such as this, at least I'm hoping it was epic, as well as many other opinion pieces and reviews and deep analytical shit coming your way. These actors that are brimming with talent are turned into pieces of wood. The script even tries to give them some witty banter, and yet, because of how monotone they are, it just doesn't work.
Tell me about your dream.
Emote, you left testicle, emote.